Well, the 17-year-old who appeared in court here today had been arrested on Monday, pretty soon after those 999 calls were made by people in Southport asking for ambulances, saying that several people had been stabbed and among them were young children. Now, because of his age, because he's under 18, ordinarily we would not be allowed to name him. But today the judge made an unusual decision, and of course we know a lot has happened in the days since Monday, and that was referred to by the judge as he made that decision. He said that the allegations are serious and shocking. They could hardly be more serious, he said. But he also talked about misinformation online. He described rioting also in Southport, but also elsewhere too that we've seen, and made the decision to try and diffuse some of the tensions. Charged overnight and brought to court this morning with a blue lights police escort. The 17-year-old accused of carrying out a mass stabbing at a children's dance class in Southport. Accused of murdering these three girls, Alice, Bibi and Elsie, and also trying to murder 10 other people, including 8 children. The suspect can now be named as Axel Rudakubana. This is him when he was younger in his school uniform. Today in court, we barely saw his face as he sat in the dock with his head down and his face covered. During a brief hearing first thing this morning in a youth court, and then later during a hearing that lasted about an hour in a Crown courtroom in the same building, Axel Rudakubana had his grey tracksuit top pulled right up, covering all of his face. Occasionally, I saw him pull it down just enough so as he could look around the courtroom. When he was asked, "Are you Axel Rudakubana?" there was no response. When the judge asked his defence barrister if he could confirm his name, again, no reply. In fact, the 17-year-old remained silent through his entire time in court today. Arrested on Monday by police who'd been called to a mass stabbing at a summer holiday dance workshop in Southport. At 17, normally Axel Rudakubana wouldn't be publicly named, even once charged. But today, the judge decided his identity should be known. Among the reasons, his birthday next week when he turns 18, meaning he'd be named then anyway. And also, what's happened since Monday, what the judge called idiotic rioting, the false names and claims online. In ruling that it's in the public interest to name the teenager, Judge Andrew Maneri said, continuing to prevent full reporting has the disadvantage of allowing others who are up to mischief to continue to spread misinformation in a vacuum. He said it runs the risk that when the information becomes publicly available, that will provide an additional excuse for a fresh round of public disorder. As Axel Rudakubana left court, there was tight security again. While in Southport, after the violence on this street on Monday, and since then on streets nearby, more flowers still come. For many, those killed and those injured must not be forgotten in all this, including dance teacher Leanne Lucas and John Hayes, who were both stabbed while trying to protect the children. Today, from Alderhay Children's Hospital, an update. 2 of those who were taken there to be treated for their injuries have now been discharged.
Claire Fallon reporting. Sir Keir Starmer has announced a new national response to the violent disorder in the wake of the deadly Southport night attack. The Prime Minister summoned police chiefs to Downing Street after far-right riots spread across the country last night. More than 100 people were arrested in central London and 11 in Hartlepool. There was violence in Manchester and a tense standoff with police in Aldershot. Andrew Misra has this report.
Next to the highest offices of law and order, violent disorder and chaos. An ugly contrast on Whitehall last night. More than 100 people were arrested. Police officers attacked and abused. just as they were in Southport on Tuesday, when a mosque was targeted by rioters believed to be supporters of the English Defence League, sparked by false information and online rumours about Monday's stabbing. That unrest seems to have spread like wildfire, shaping the tensions in London last night and in Manchester, where there was a violent protest outside a hotel known locally to house asylum seekers. At the same time, disorder in Hartlepool too. Once again, police officers attacked.
I think it's absolutely appalling what they've done. They just use it as an excuse to kick off, really. Everything's gone back to normal today. They're using the businesses as normal. I'm guaranteed people who were here last night are coming in and using the businesses today. So it's achieved nothing. It was just an excuse for people to kick off.
It was worse than the videos portrayed, trust me. It was like people were throwing bricks, whatever they could find.
And throwing punches. Cleveland police are investigating this viral video describing the man who's attacked as of black or ethnic origin. Most of the damage has been dealt with, but many are unsettled, including a local Muslim woman who didn't want to show her face on camera.
It makes me feel quite unsafe, to be honest. I've got family around here, my grandma lives here. I wear hijab, so do some members of my family, and it's not nice to think that I have to worry about their safety. I've got a younger sister who I don't want to go out alone now because I'm cautious of the fact that there is people out there that have these views that are affecting us, and that they don't have any boundaries when it comes to that.
So how to make people feel safe here? An independent assessment recently suggested this area is disadvantaged when it comes to police funding. Does Cleveland Police have enough officers to deal with this sort of thing?
I'm not sure they do at the moment. I don't think they've got the number of officers they need to be able to do it. I think that clearly this last night was coordinated. There's talk of further coordinated attacks, which is going to stretch the police's capacity to deal with it. So we urgently need to get those 13,000 police officers that the Labour government's promising onto our streets so that we can deal with these problems more effectively.
We put that to the Prime Minister after he'd held an emergency meeting with police chiefs.
Well, we've already made a commitment to increasing police numbers. That's a commitment we made into the general election, and particularly police officers to work in neighbourhood policing.
Keir Starmer has unveiled a new national unit to tackle violent disorder.
It is obvious to me, and I think obvious to anybody looking in, that so far as the far right is concerned, this is coordinated, this is deliberate, this is not a protest that has got out of hand. It is a group of individuals who are absolutely bent on violence.
Police joining forces, he says, will help prevent yet more chaos and violence on our streets.